Okay, hello everyone. I am Alberto Nebreda, and as you can read here, I'm going to talk about the role of bilingualism on executive functioning and grammatical comprehension in older adults. This topic is a little bit more cognitive than previous studies that we have seen here, but I hope you'll find it interesting anyway. So first, bilingualism has been proposed as an enhancing factor for both the executive functioning and inhibitory control, as well as a protective factor against cognitive decline with aging. For this reason, as well as for improving international communication abilities, many countries are starting to implement bilingual programs in their educational systems, teaching the children a second language from an early age. So what's the problem then? Why keep studying this topic? Well, while at first many research, the results seem to support the bilingual advantage hypothesis, so many researchers started to point out some methodological problems, arguing that there could be some confounding variables that were not being taken into account. So, for example, typically bilingual samples and monolingual samples have very different levels of education, and this is really important because the level of education plays a key role in both the executive functioning and the cognitive decline. Many times also the bilingual samples form part of an immigrant sample. This is important because they have huge differences not only in the language but also in the lifestyle or socioeconomic status in average. And even when controlling for these two previous variables, we keep finding contradictory results in the literature. Why could it be? Well, different studies usually use different tests to measure for executive functions, and then they put the results in a unique general factor for executive functioning. So to try to avoid this, we use the models proposed by these authors, by Friedman et al. And Millak et al., that talk about a common executive functioning that is measured by a big variety of tests, but it also has a specific shifting factor and a updating specific factor. I think it's easier to understand here. We will have tests measuring inhibition ability, shifting ability, and updating ability. Three of them contribute to the common executive functioning factor, but only the updating ability tests contribute to the updating specific factor, and only the shifting ability test contribute to the shifting specific factors. So what have we done? Well, we evaluated a sample of 95 healthy older Spanish adults, 67 bilinguals, 28 monolinguals. We statistically controlled to raise the effect of the level of education using an R package called Matchit, which assigns weights to the different groups. And then we measured 4 different factors. First, the shifting ability was measured using the trial-making test. The updating ability was measured using direct and inverse digits, as well as the letter task. And the inhibition ability was measured using the Stroop test. As you have seen before, these 3 abilities will be the ones that are related with executive functioning and were in the model before, but we also wanted to test grammatical comprehension, tested by a Spanish test called EcoSenior. So which were the results? We found significant differences in the 3 tasks related with updating ability, favoring a bilingual advantage. We also found differences in the trial-making test B time and the ratio between the TMTB and the TMTA, but not significant differences in the TMTA. That's good because that is related with the fact that it's a difference in executive functioning, in shifting, and not just in the speed processing. Then in inhibition ability and the Stroop test, we found no significant differences at all. And in grammatical comprehension, we found differences in all the conditions, but especially interesting, we found an important interaction between the simplicity of the propositions and the bilingualism, having a bigger advantage, having the bilinguals bigger advantage in the more complex propositions. So what will be the conclusions then? Well, following the previous model, we will have significant differences with an advantage for bilinguals in both the updating specific factor and the shifting specific factor, as well as in grammatical comprehension. But no differences in the inhibition ability or in the common executive functioning factor, that is the only one that inhibition ability contributes to. That's really interesting because that could explain the apparently contradictory results found in literature and why they could not agree in the results. Many of the previous studies only measure pure inhibition tasks and then talk about executive functioning, while others use tasks that are more complex and probably were involving more executive functioning abilities. And that's all. Thank you very much.